Hey, everybody, just waiting on everybody to come on board. So we'll be getting started soon enough. So let me just click that. Um, hey, everybody, good morning. You'll be wanting to share this for sure. So, yeah, you might want to be hitting your share button. Morning, people that are jumping on board quick. All right, yes, I am Pacific time, 5 a.m. So let's just get some people on board and then we'll get going. So hopefully everybody's good. Yeah, there's lots I want to talk to you today about. So I'll be bringing in my screen, as you can see there. I don't think you can read that right now, but if you can, let me know. You shouldn't be able to read it right now, but I'll be bringing it in soon enough. So we'll get that started and we'll get on it. So good. Glad people are getting on board, and you'll definitely want to get going and sharing this. So I'm not going to waste any more time. So yeah, lots of people from everywhere. Good to see you all. Yeah, let's get going. So what I'm going to talk to you today about is right there on your screen. Detox and elimination diets. These are more science fiction than science, more fantasy than reality. But it seems to be, with the internet the way it is, more and more people keep falling for more and more of this nonsense every year. So I wanted to show you what the actual research has to say about all this stuff, and who's being taken advantage of the most. So yeah, the very, very important stuff. So hopefully this is something you'll find interesting, especially the ladies. And I'm going to get into it straight away. So without further ado, I'm going to eliminate that and bring up my screen half and half. Maybe I'll do it this way. No, that way. All right. So hopefully you guys will be able to follow along. I appreciate the comment, Jonathan. So here is the actual one of the links to the article you can read. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me know if you can see it or not see it. So it's my first time experimenting with sharing my screen with you all. So let me know that you're seeing that, and I will continue. So we want to get to it. Here is the name of the article. Let me just highlight that for you. And all right. Everybody see that? Detox diets and toxin elimination and weight management. A critical review of the evidence from the Journal of Human Nutrition and Dietetics. There's a couple of links to the article right there. So if you want to copy this later on, all you have to do is replay this show, and we'll go in and you can read the research. I'm going to be reading from it as well. Hey, Booster. And we're going to take it from there. So what I want you to do now, for anybody out there who your friends and other mostly will find this interesting, they've ever done a cleanse or a detox diet or detox this and detox that shenanigans, hit your share button straight away, folks, because you're going to want to share this. So I definitely want to share it all with you and show you my screen and my arguments as we go week to week. So by all means, folks, I can't see your emoticons because of the software I'm using, so you'll have to type in the comment section. Just let me know as I post this stuff that you can see it. So if I do this, let me know if that's still seeable to you. If it is, then great. If you like this screen better, let me know and I will switch it up. So the comments in blue that you'll see are my own. Detox and various toxin elimination diets have more to do with fantasy and science fiction than they do with nutritional and metabolic reality. Let's get to it. So Perry, my go-to guy, is on board. Perry, you might want to find the link to another thing I'm going to say at the bottom, and then you can look into this. So if you do find the link, folks, and you start scrolling through this whole article, one of the things I want to point out to you right here, as you can see, if you scroll through this article, one of the quack cleanse diets out there listed in this research is from the Wizard of Nonsense himself, Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz being a shill for shenanigans of useless supplements and diets out there to line his own pockets. Shameful, actually. He's been called to testify about his shenanigans. They couldn't really do much about it government-wise because of the laws surrounding supplements and diet claims. But one of the diets, useless cleanse diets on here, was from Dr. Oz himself, who I prefer to call the Wizard of Nonsense. So when you look through it, you'll be able to see that. So let's get to the nuts and bolts of the study. What is below in black are direct quotes, and then the blue is my commentary. So again, folks, hopefully you're hitting your share button. I'm tired of people who really are the most vulnerable out there, people with weight issues being taken advantage of under the guise of helping hands. And really what people are doing is lining their pockets at your expense and your vulnerability. So I'm going to point out how that works, and we're going to get into it right here. And I can still see your comments, folks, so just let me know you're seeing this. So let's get into it. The very first quote that we need to talk about is, it is known that dieting in general has an estimated success rate of only 20%. And the number there is the reference for that. A possible explanation for this lack of success is that animals and humans have evolved, meaning hardware, mechanisms to defend against weight loss because starvation can lead to reduced fertility and even death. So it was how our human species survived was to fight against weight loss and make it easy to gain weight. And the diet industry doesn't want anyone to know that. This is discussed in several of my books. If you just give me a second here. Understanding Metabolism. Oops. All right. And the anti-diet approach to weight loss and weight control, and okay, Beyond Metabolism. So I'll keep holding these books up as we go along. So hopefully that piece of research is fundamental to understanding the weight loss journey and the realms of time that matter to the metabolic compensation system, which are 3 realms of time: the immediate, the residual, and the cumulative. And the diet and fitness industry want you to constantly focus on the immediate realm of time. It's the rabbit in the hat magic trick that keeps you buying into wishes over reality. So very, very important stuff. And hopefully, and you can comment anytime, folks. That's fine. I can definitely bring up the comments as we go along. So no worries there. So, and then next, you see here that I'm just going to highlight that for you all so you can see it. Energy restriction. Let me go back to this. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. Energy restriction is known to alter the expression of certain neuropeptides, particularly in the hypothalamus of the brain. These changes stimulate appetite and reduce metabolic rate and energy expenditure. Think about that, okay? Changes from diet, all right, alter the expression of certain neuropeptides in the brain, all right, that changes stimulate appetite and reduce metabolic rate and energy expenditure, leading to what we call the weight loss plateau that is often observed during dieting. This is how and why my cycle diet, all right, is so effective for achieving and maintaining weight reduction, because without key refeeds at a certain time, your body is going to downregulate how much energy you burn because it's going to conserve it At the same time, it's going to be increasing your hunger and appetite levels. So let me just scroll back here. Energy restriction, as in diet, is known to alter the expression of certain neuropeptides, particularly in the hypothalamus. These changes stimulate appetite and reduce metabolic rate. So you're hungrier, but you're burning less energy. That is a recipe for disaster, folks, okay? Leading to weight loss plateau that is often observed during dieting. Moreover, studies in, and this is important as well, folks, studies in mice have shown that the stressfulness of energy restriction can produce long-term changes in stress neurocircuitry. How you start responding to stress changes just from a diet, all right, leading to binge eating later on, although this is yet to be established in humans. So binge eating in mice and rats as a result of dieting, these studies are discussed in my book, The Anti-Diet Approach to Weight Loss and Weight Control. I'm just going to switch that up. That's this book here, The Anti-Diet Approach to Weight Loss and Weight Control. So as you can see, I was ahead of the research. I was talking about this research before anybody else was. And again, all under trying to help. So I'll go back to this screen. Is this screen okay, folks? Can you see it, or do you prefer if I'm small and the screen is bigger? Let me know. And I'm hoping that you like following along here instead of me just reading all the time. So very, very important. And hit your share button, folks. This is important stuff. It's time that this industry be held accountable, although it never will be. So again, right from this research article, Mazarek et al. Have shown that fasting for 48 hours increases cortisol levels in young, healthy women, whereas Tomiyama et al. Have reported that restricting dietary energy intake to 1,200 calories a day for 3 weeks also increases levels of stress in hormones in females. So by restricting your diet with no end in sight, you increase your stress hormones. And this matters because the secondary results of this is what I'm going to share with you below. So this is very, very good stuff, very important stuff. So I'm hoping you can see all this. Let me just shrink myself here. So, all right, so there is convincing evidence, all right, that stress stimulates appetite and weight gain through elevations of cortisol. Dieting is a stressful experience because it involves resisting temptation and enduring physically aversive feelings of hunger and deprivation. There are many anecdotal reports of stressfulness of popular detox programs in terms of cleanses and nonsense like that. This is not surprising considering the low energy, nutrient poor nature of many of these diets, many of these detox programs with your 500 calories a day and your juice fast and all the rest of this nonsense, isogenics and their 7 and 9 day cleanse option. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys like the screen view there. So again, when dieting itself makes you feel stressed and stressed out, this can actually lead to eventual weight gain in the long term. And again, this is in my book. I'm going to hold it up to you again. All right. The Anti-Diet Approach to Weight Loss and Weight Control. Long-term sustainable weight control is a marathon, not a sprint. All right. This requires a diet strategy. All right. And not a diet. I'm going to post that up there so you can see that. All right. I'll go back to this. All right. So maybe you can copy and paste and share that as well. I don't know why. I've been in this for 4 decades and people still don't seem to get that. So long-term sustainable weight control is a marathon, not a sprint. And that requires a diet strategy, not a diet. Again, going back to something like my cycle diet is a diet strategy. All right. It works around the metabolic compensation system in terms of long-term adaptations to energy intake, both relative and absolute caloric deficits. So, and then their next conclusion is, as you can see here, with the reference to back it up. All right, their next conclusion is at present, There is no compelling evidence to support the use of detox diets for weight management or toxin elimination. And I'm just going to copy that and put it on your screen as well. And hopefully you guys will be able to share that as well. So all you people out there who try this stuff in desperation need to know you're being scammed. Now, I've known that forever. It's just that the industry is slow to study this stuff because they see no value in studying it. You know, it's the old W.C. Fields expression, there's a sucker born every minute. And there's really no reason for academics to study such things they know as nonsense. So it takes a while to get funding to study things, but I think that's starting to come around because people are just getting duped. And now I think because of the internet, we're coming along trying to prove to people when and how and where and why they're being scammed. So let me read that again. At present, there's no compelling evidence to support the use of detox diets for weight management or toxin elimination. So that's very, very important. And hopefully you'll get that through your heads. And then now, let me just highlight this. I'll keep highlighting the paragraph I'm on so you can read it. Considering the financial costs to consumers, unsubstantiated claims, and potential health risks of detox products, they should be discouraged by health professionals and subject to independent regulatory review and monitoring. This is the research study itself. So unfortunately, as you can see, my comments here is this will likely never happen. It's still caveat emptor out there in this industry, especially when people who earn celebrity status and the weird sort of trust that goes along with trusting someone just because they're a celebrity are the same people duping you into believing in nonsense. And again, Dr. Oz comes to mind here. Dr. Oz's mission, folks, is to be able to put out a show every day. It's like when I was in the magazine industry. When I was in the magazine industry and I had my own column in the magazines and I wrote my own articles for the magazines and feature articles and a ghostwriter for the articles, this is part and parcel. What the consumers don't understand is the magazine's mission is to keep putting out magazines. They don't really care if the content is accurate as long as it dazzles, okay? As long as it's provocative, as long as it keeps you buying and subscribing, that's their mission. And it's the same thing with Dr. Oz. He needs to stay on TV. So the more provocative his titles can be, as in including one of his ridiculous cleanse diets in this actual research article, that's his mission. So get over the notion that he thinks he's actually helping you. So, you know, you need to get over this faith in celebrity status nonsense, okay? Again, the researchers go on and say, it is hoped that this review will encourage systematic evaluations of commercial detox diets so that an evidence base can be established to inform future legislation. Again, that's not likely to ever happen, folks, and you can't legislate anti-scamming really in an effective way until the laws change. So until the laws change, none of these things are legislated. So people will continue to go on duping the public. So Nancy's just writing in, can I talk about probiotics and whether they help with weight loss? Well, I'm hoping if you're following along with this article, Nancy, and you get where it's going, then you can draw that conclusion yourself. Of course, it does nothing. We don't need probiotics. We just think we do. I'm going to get there. You know, consider me, Scott Abel, coach for 4 decades of transforming bodies and transforming lives. Consider me the fitness coach unplugged. All right. I'm the minimalist. It's amazing to me how many people hire me. And when I give them their protocol, they will check in. They'll write back and go, oh, I think you forgot about supplements. What supplements do you want me to take? And when I write back and say, none, you don't need any supplements, they're almost shocked. So again, you're not going to find me endorsing many supplements, Nancy, on any kind of wavelength. Most of it is absolute crap. So again, people are buying in. You know, it's just, you know, Nancy's comment, can you talk about probiotics and whether they help with weight loss? Again, is I give you the straight up, I was going to say the skinny, but I didn't mean to be a pun there. But I give you the straight up on where all this is going, and then you get all the yeah buts. Well, what about this? And what about that? These all fall under the same umbrella, folks. It's the same stuff in a different package. And if you don't get that, you're going to continue to believe in hope over experience. And that's a shame. You know, those of you who followed Anja's transformation video last week, none of it involved any of this stuff in believing in quackery. It was about getting real, and choosing healthy whole foods and taking the long-term approach. So now here's where it gets, this research was so compelling to me that I wanted and needed and had to include it. So this is very, very important to me. Perhaps, this is the researchers now, perhaps an important question to ask is, why are detox diets so appealing to begin with? So I'm going to post that for you guys, because I think when we replay this, I think it's important to address this stuff. And here's what their commentary was. The seductive power of detox diets presumably lies in their promise of purification and redemption, which are ideals that are deep-rooted in human psychology. And I talk about diet psychology all the time. The North American diet mentality madness is a twisted view of looking at food. Let me go back to why these detox diets are so appealing. These diets, of course, are highly reminiscent of the religious fasts that have been popular throughout human history. It would be useful for future studies to examine the psychological aspects of detox diets and investigate why people are drawn to extreme diets that have no proven benefits. All right, and let me just paste that. And we see this, of course, in religions. The element of sacrifice always seems to have to do with things that are hard drives in our human evolution. In other words, priests are supposed to deny themselves the hardwired drive for sex. And other religions have that too, that, that they have to be, abstain from sex. Most religions also have some type of sacrifice that has to do with a cleanse, a purification, the promise of purification and redemption, as that says there. We see Catholics for Lent, they'll give up chocolate, they'll give up ice cream, they'll give up something. We see it in Ramadan and the diet sacrifice that happens in Ramadan, where you can't eat during the daylight hours and things like that. So this is just a carryover from that marketers have latched onto and realized that the human psyche is drawn to this notion of purification and redemption. So why not just make it physical? Why not just call it a cleanse, and how you can purify, your body and your stomach and all these other things. So are you following along with me, folks? Because nobody's commenting. I want to make sure you're all still out there. I haven't put you to sleep yet. So just let me know you're still out there. Maybe a comment with a check mark or a happy face or something along those lines. Let me know you're alive out there. So, or you're just that fascinated by it all. So, by all means, please hit your share button as well. So again, back to the research here. And furthermore, unfortunately, and this is important, folks, equating food with sin, guilt, and contamination is likely to set up an unhealthy relationship with nutrition. All right, that needs to be shared, because I've been screaming this from the rooftops for years now, watching what diets in this industry have done to people. And it doesn't look like it'll share the whole comment. So equating food with sin, guilt, and contamination is likely to set up unhealthy relationships with nutrition. And I have helplessly watched this reality play out for decades now in this industry, and I've been trying to do something about it, writing in my books all about this stuff. Let me read that fundamental point over again. Equating food with sin, guilt, and contamination is likely to set up an unhealthy relationship with nutrition. Just like if you equate sex with sin, guilt, and contamination, you're likely to have a distorted sexual function, right? We see this all the time in the research about sexual dysfunction. So that stuff is written about in my book, Beyond Metabolism, all right? So there is very seldom a piece of research coming out that I haven't already covered. But of course, I'll use the research anytime I can. Alba's just saying, yeah, cleanses are popular because they offer quick results that don't and can't last. Well, that's because all cleanses do is offer water weight loss. And again, this whole notion psychologically of purification and redemption, which I'm so glad the researchers pointed out. Lyle wants to know, is there a link to the article? Yep, I posted it right at the beginning, Lyle. You must have come in just a little bit late. So if you go back to the beginning, you'll see where I did that, and maybe Perry will post a link up here as well. Let me see if I can, I'll do that at the end. I'll make a post for you there as well, Lyle. So very, very important that you guys be able to read this to yourself, so for yourselves. So, and then there is no doubt, let me just go back here so you guys can see this here. I think that's the screen you guys like. So there's no doubt that sustained healthy habits are of greater long-term value than the quick fixes offered by commercial detox diets and elimination diets. And to that, I say, a freaking men. That's the researchers' conclusion. There's no doubt that sustained healthy habits are of greater long-term value than quick fixes offered by commercial detox diets, okay? And you all got to start looking at long-term lifestyle instead of short-term magic. That is where, why, and how one-on-one coaching can be so important and vital. There's no such thing as a quick start to sustainable weight loss. As a matter of fact, a lot of damage can be done with all this quick start nonsense that we see out there. And I covered that earlier in the article when we talk about the negative hormonal adaptations to energy restriction when it gets to the level of energy depletion. So yeah, hopefully you get that. Lyle, I'll post the link. I'll go back to the beginning. I just don't want to do it right now because I'm getting used to this software, and if I go back to the beginning, I might lose my spot. So here's the thing. Now here's the crux of it all, folks, that makes me the bad guy almost all the time. So I'm hoping you'll be able to follow along with this with me. So here's the thing. In my experience, which is decades of experience, let's keep that in mind, about 85% or more of people who write me who buy into this crap are overweight women. And I'm sure a lot of you, if that resonates with you, throw some, emoticons across the screen, some thumbs up or whatever, because that's been my level of experience. 85% or more of people who write me who buy into elimination diets and detox diets are overweight women. They need to and want to believe that they are somehow special cases with something wrong with them. And if they just solve this, then they solve their weight issues. And they think that these things matter and make a difference. But as this research shows, it doesn't make a difference. It's a classic mind screw, okay? And it continues, and it's going to keep continuing. This industry preys on the most vulnerable people suffering low self-esteem because of weight issues. And they offer their gimmicks as helping hands by people who care. But you know what they truly care about is the dollars, all right? And it's not their fault as long as people are going to continue to buy into hope over experience. The likelihood is that there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. And most people who contact me who fit this description, one of the other signs that they're falling into this stuff, it's never one thing they seem to suffer from. It's always seems to be a combination. They're gluten intolerant. They can't eat grains. They're dairy. They can't eat dairy. They're hypoglycemic and hypothyroid. The likelihood of having all these things going on at one time, like I said in a previous broadcast, is the same as the likelihood of being hit by lightning 3 times. It doesn't make sense. So that's a sign that you're buying into a lot of hype, okay, to make other people money under the guise of trying to help you out. So again, it's tricky out there, especially in the fitness industry. Perry, I know you want to know who the author is. I'm going to get to it. I'm almost done here, and then I'll just go right back to the beginning and post that up. So. And hopefully you're all still following along on the screen. You'd be amazed how many people write me, for instance, whose real blood tests all right, come back as normal. And then they're frustrated that their blood tests show nothing wrong with them. How twisted is that when you think about it? If I go get a blood test and it comes back as normal, my mind's relieved. All right, I feel good about that. Whereas a lot of these people go get their blood tests that show nothing wrong with them, and they're frustrated because they want to have something wrong with them that explains their weight, explains this, explains that. So then what they do, if their blood tests are normal, then that's when they seek out and find these alternative quacks who will show them nonsense to the contrary via questionnaires, saliva tests, and things like that. And I'll cover this level of quackery in a coming live session. I've already got the notes ready. But again, this is up to the consumer to stop the nonsense, because there's always going to be someone out there willing to capitalize on your desire, all right, to tell you it's not you, there's something wrong with you, okay, physically, all right? So these detox diets and elimination diets are just a case in point of a system that's running rampantly bad, okay? So you got to sort of take ownership of where you're at and how you got there, and that the solution is going to be long-term, not short-term. So the hidden conclusions in these type of studies for people to grasp, the researchers won't come right out and say this, because research is just all about objectivity and drawing conclusions based on the evidence. But within that is subtle opinions, okay? So here's what people need to grasp who struggle with these kind of things. You aren't overweight because you have issues. You have issues because you are overweight, all right? And when I deliver that news, I'm the bad guy, all right? I don't understand. I don't know what it's like, all these kind of things. And, my idea, my goal is to deliver the truth. I'm not on the side of feel good, feel bad. I'm on the side of what's going to work. So again, some of the bittersweet medicine is to accept you aren't overweight because you have issues. You have issues because you are overweight. So that's very, very important thing to keep in mind. I'm trying to help people here by giving them the truth. Why would I even cover this? I could easily buy in and create my own. I've been here 4 decades. I know something about getting lean and being fit. I could easily opt in and create my own isogenics body by V nonsense that drink this potion and fast for 4 days and let's cleanse your system and then we'll optimize your metabolism. I can pitch all the bullshit, folks, because I've done it. I was, don't forget, a ghostwriter for supplement companies. So I know how it all works, and I could pitch that to you, but I'd rather give you the truth, even though some people find when I deliver this kind of truth, they make me into the bad guy. And that's unfortunate because my goal is to, try to help people out. And, Protege Andy just checked in with, it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they've been fooled. Amen to that. And that's a Mark Twain quote. So I'm going to actually throw that up there on the, I think that's worth commenting on there, Andy. So I'm going to show that one. It's easier for people, it's easier to fool people than to convince them they've been fooled. And that's by Mark Twain. As you can see, my protege, Andy, does his own work as well. And that's why he's my protege, following in the footsteps and doing a good job. Donna says the truth hurts. And it's not meant to hurt, Donna. It's meant to be the truth. How people take it, all right? Their emotional attachments to the truth, that's where the problem lies. So again, when you're a person who feels, one of the signs that you've got an emotional attachment to all this stuff is you get a blood test and it comes back normal, all right? And you're frustrated by that because you want to have a problem with yourself. That doesn't make any sense. So now I want to just put this up here. As I always say, you can be a victim or you can be a victor, but you can't be both at the same time. So, we have to, as I always say, we got to get real about getting real. So I'm just going to post that up. Yeah, and if I think about this stuff too much, it just ends up making me want to cry because there's too many of you being taken advantage of, and that's too bad. So, Tony, I'm not sure I understand your question. If you reword it, I'd be happy to get it to it. So, and then as a solution, what I try to walk my clients through if they're new and they've struggled with weight their whole life is they're right here. What if you just conducted yourself as if there is nothing at all wrong with you? All right, let me just copy that, paste that. All right, these are things to think about, folks. This is how my coaching works. I want to prod you with provocative thought, because part of successful weight transformation is cognitive restructuring. And cognitive restructuring, again, is talked about in all my books. We talk about that over and over again. So very, very important. And yeah, so, it's funny because as you'll see here, hopefully you guys are reading this. Yesterday, I'm shopping for Saturdays. I go shopping for my cheat day foods for Sundays. And as I was at the checkout line, a top woman's magazine, I think it was Woman's Day or something, the main headline with a picture of course, with a lady smiling, and right in the middle of the cover, a woman's magazine, major headline was 6-day detox diet, double your fat loss forever. Now, these people need to be held accountable. I tried to find it online to find a link so I could get you guys to write in and tell shame on them, but I couldn't find. I just typed in the headline. I couldn't find the magazine, but it's right there at the checkout counter. 6-day detox diet, double your fat loss forever. Again, quick results. Detox nonsense. Detox is a buzzword. Cleanse is a buzzword. Elimination diet is a buzzword. I'm trying to teach you these things, folks, so you don't fall for it. Okay, so you need to stop falling for it, and you need to be accountable, not just them. Okay, so yeah. So for instance, Canada's Bernstein, apparently there was two Bernsteins, because I've commented on this before and people were quick to remind me. I guess there is another Dr. Bernstein who does really good work with diabetics and stuff, but Canada's Dr. Bernstein weight loss diet, their initial diet, I haven't looked at it in years because it's nonsense, but extremely low calories, which will end up making people fat long term, they'll be fat shaming down the road. And then what the Bernstein diet had was all these things for ladies to be concerned. Oh, the dishwasher soap you use could be making you fat because of this ingredient and that ingredient. You better watch out for your laundry soap and this kind of makeup. And it was absolutely friggin' ridiculous what amounted to, what amounted to parts and parcel of controlling your weight with the Bernstein diet, the magic of the Bernstein diet, 500 to 800 calories and a B12 shot by, medical assistants, very, very ridiculous. So I think it was Lyle, you wanted to know the research and stuff. Here it is. There's different ways of getting to it. Let me just put this really big so you can all see it here. How about that big? There you go. Okay. Detox diets for toxic elimination and weight management, a critical review of the evidence. If you just type in the title, that should get you there. And it's in the Journal of Human Nutrition and Dietetics. And right below that, right here, is the authors. So I think very, very important stuff. All right. So very, very important. You need to understand this stuff. I'll leave that up to you guys there to take in. If you want, I can just, does everyone see that all right? So, and Perry has the, if you want to look for that, folks, you can look for that there. So any questions or comments? I wanted to get that out there. Cheryl says, in my lifelong war with fat and self-esteem, this is one of the few hocus pocus things I haven't bought into, thankfully. Amen to that, Cheryl. But, a lot of these things come also like kind of disguised, right? They come with some fitness pros, 1 day juice fast before or after your cheat day, or, all this kind of nonsense is the same kind of thing in different clothes. So the same wolf in a different sheep's clothing. So, and then the comments, yeah, like dishwasher fluid can make you fat and things like that. So Tony says, like, what is it about humans that makes us easier to be fooled and convince us we've been fooled? I don't know, Tony. Well, I've been talking about that. It's hope over experience, Tony. That's sort of the line that's used in social psychology. People want a way out. So, yeah, very, very, very important stuff. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now. And there's one more thing that I want to talk to you about, and then I'll get back to your Perry's just saying you can also, let me just show this. Perry's just saying you can also Google Klein and Kiat research or toxin elimination diet, and hopefully you'll come up with something there. So Monica found it as well. So let me just, good work, you guys, good work. So let me just show Monica has put in the, I don't know if it all got in there. But it's in there. So very, very important stuff. So, all right. So before I sign off, folks, I am excited as heck to tell you about the Hard Gainer Solution course launch, which will be coming this week. And you guys are the first to hear about it. Hit your share buttons. We'll be announcing this. I'll get to your question in a minute, Lyle. We'll be announcing this week in several forms, but my Hard Gainer Solution, which was a #1 best-selling book on Amazon, it was such a best-selling book on Amazon when we launched it that we said, we got to turn this into a course because of the questions we were getting. And Andy can certainly testify to this. We started shooting the videos for this course on Super Bowl Sunday last year. All right, so February 2nd or whatever it was. And we shot videos for 6 months, Andy, something like that. I'm going to have Andy on a live broadcast later this week to talk about the Hard Gainer. Andy just went back to the Hard Gainer just recently on his own decision. He was like, hey, Scott, what do you think my next program? I go back to the Hard Gainer. So I'm like, giddy up, Buttercup, let's do it. So he's on that right now. We're going to be talking about that, but there's like 130 videos, exercise instruction, diet, all of it is in there. So finally, after a long time and a lot of my heart and soul into a project of my own creation, we're going to be happy to bring that to you. Perry says, Hard Gainer Solution rocks. You will see that referred to as HGS, folks, Hard Gainer Solution. Ulf chimes in, Hard Gainer Solution, simple and effective. That's me. I'm very simple and effective. I like to keep it simple. This industry likes to overcomplicate things that aren't complicated, and that's too bad. As I say, over instruction can kill anything. And this industry likes to make complicated what is simple, and they like to simplify what is complicated. Hence why I have these live broadcasts to begin with. So yeah, look for it, folks. Yep, that Hard Gainer will be coming out real soon. Yeah, the comments are coming in about the Hard Gainer, so I'm proud of that. But we'll be all over Facebook with our ads and stuff this week. So very happy with that. Gabriel's just saying Hard Gainer can meet anyone where they're at. Application can determine intensity of the trainee. I love it. Appreciate that, Gabriel. Perry's just saying Hard Gainer Solution is so versatile. I travel 180 to 200 days a year. Very adoptable routine for hotel gyms. Yeah, very, 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 very important stuff. The podcast, this is the podcast now. The question was, am I changing my podcast? Dr. Mike has gone back to lecturing at university, as he should, being a PhD and a brilliant mind. He's gone back to lecturing the young minds, which I can relate to. So I don't have a host. So this is my podcast from here on in, folks. So yeah. So Andy's just making another typical able protege comment. Part of the problem is if you don't read industry magazines and websites, then the people in the industry say you're uninformed. But if you do read them, you're misinformed. And that's a fantastic point you're making there, buddy. Yeah, so if you don't read industry magazines, people in the industry tell you you're uninformed. And if you do read them, you're misinformed. So yeah, all these popular sites that people go on to get a sort of slanted view of everything is very, very silly. So Nancy's just, if the HGS will be good for the Physique After 50 women. Sure, the Physique After 50 program, Nancy, was born from the Hard Gainer Solution. Hard Gainer Solution came first, and from that, I tweaked and modified it to create the Physique After 50. So Lyle just wants to know, can fasting be of benefit for our bodies when we have filtered out quack diets and are making better choices? No, Lyle, like what aren't you hearing here? There's no benefit in fasting. It makes no sense other than a psychological thing of purification and redemption. So no, I mean, that's been the whole point of this. And I will get to the arguments that fasters make when I talk about quackery in an upcoming session. I'm going to be talking about quacks, and if it quacks like a duck, it's a quack. So no, there's never a need to fast. Plain old, simple stuff. All right, that came from religion. As I explained in this lecture, it came out of religion. And then marketers said, hey, we can capitalize on this. We can make money from this. What if we can convince people there's a physical use for fasting and cleansing and all the rest of these buzzwords? So Stephanie's just saying there are so many battling with weight and low self-esteem. Thank you for taking the time to show the false programs out there. Well, it's been a mission of mine for years, Stephanie. I started, I think it was 2012, with my Empowered Women course. And I talked all about how and why people develop food issues. 85% of people taking mood altering medications, whether antidepressants or anti-anxiety or mood stabilizers, 85+% are women. There's a problem with that kind of representation, and I think we know what that is. We also see that, in my research, that before the modern internet created the global village, in places where the North American focus on the body and the North American diet mentality couldn't reach, there was no issues, very little issues with self-esteem and psychiatry. And then once the global village was able to reach these other countries, there was an explosion in eating disorders and body image dysmorphia and things like that. So, this stuff can't be solved by me. I'm just someone whispering in a screaming wind of industry noise. So it's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. It makes me a target of everyone else. It's funny, before I end the broadcast, it's pretty funny, but when I did sort of lost my composure a few weeks back talking about the deaths of those two bodybuilders, and when I said I'd never heard of them, I had no clue who they were, a couple of the comments were like, wow, talk about a guy who's out of the loop when you don't know who these guys are. And I'm like, only people in the cult of the subculture of the bodybuilding world think that that's the whole world. And that if you're in the fitness world, you should know who these people are. No, you should know who people like I am. You should know who people like JC Santana is. That's the people you should know. That's the people who are truly in the loop. No, those are the people you should know, the people that are experts and the people that can help you, and the people who won't preach dogma. Let's let sleeping dogmas lie, and let's get to some heart stuff. So again, you gotta sort of understand all this stuff and generalize it. So no, there is no exception. No, probiotics is the same crap in a different form. Fasting without quackery is still just a mistaken notion that is doing something. It's not, and your body responds accordingly. So after this lecture, my hope is you will go through, all the notes that are there for you. Hopefully you found that interesting. You should be hitting your share button over and over and over again. And, we can get to all of that. And then again, I am really, really happy to report this week. I'm just typing it in. All right. The launch of my hard gainer solution coming this week. We gave birth to it, several weeks back, and then we had to get it ready for the internet and ready to go. Thanks to Andy for helping me shoot. There's no point in having this old guy demonstrate all the exercises. So we had, fitness model, cover model, protege, Andy do all the exercises in the hard gainer. So 80 workouts, folks. Imagine how many exercises that was. And then there's bits and pieces of Andy and the cycle diet and et cetera, et cetera. So you'll be seeing that all over my Facebook page this week. So you're getting an early sort of glimpse and some of the transformations that the hard gainer solution was part of. Very, very important as well. So look for that. We're happy to bring that to you, trying to educate people, not just a program to transform your body, but to understand methodology as well. And I do that in all my products. And again, for the purposes of this lecture, the 3 books that I mentioned, Beyond Metabolism, and I could easily type in the links, folks, but I'm not going to. My other book, Understanding Metabolism. Okay, I don't have my name in there. All right. And then the book that talked about binge eating and rats and that sort of diet mentality is my anti-diet approach to weight loss and weight control. Okay. So very, very important. So in a nutshell, folks, I hope you've been hitting your share button. And I hope that you get, whenever you hear the word detox, cleanse, elimination, you now know better that these are buzzwords trying to suck you into something that you likely don't need. The body is quite capable of cleansing and detoxing itself in so many ways. So that's very, very important stuff. And I wanted to bring you the research. I hope it helps you. Yep. Yeah. So anyway, Sherry's just saying amen. Know those that are experts, not Insta famers. Yeah, that's the modern internet for this old guy is a strange place where the lunatic fringe seems to flourish, just have a big freaky physique. I'm not going to get off topic here, folks, but anybody can treat their body like a human pincushion and create a cartoonish physique. I don't get why that's worthy of hero worship, but whatever. Lydia wants to know, how will the hard gainer solution course differ from the stuff contained in the book? Good question, Lydia. Well, it's visual. It's so visual. So we take the stuff in the book, and then we took the months and months of questions we had with, but what about this and what about that? And then, how can I tell what my proper form is? I mean, just last week, Andy, like I said, he's gone back to hard gainer. He was in there hanging and banging. I think it was workout 16. So I was right beside him. So I just grabbed the camera and shot the first triplex. And it was pretty cool. He was doing low incline dumbbell press with bent laterals and then high rep dumbbell squats. And that was his first triplex. So we could have all the dumbbells right in one area. And so I just shot him doing a set in real time. So very, very important. So it's just, a lot of people learn more visually, Lydia. So it's just like my cycle diet. The cycle diet came out as a book, and then we turned it into a course based on all the questions we were getting and all the people who were a little confused about little things here and there. So it's same idea, but with 130 videos, it's massively more detailed than the book, if that's possible. There's nothing wrong with the book, but for people who really want in-depth learning, and I'm hoping you guys will all, when that comes out, you want to hit the share button yourselves and get out with it. So Tony's just saying, thanks, Scott. Love the new format. It works. Yeah, I hope you guys like the format. I'm going to try to share screens with you when I can. Upcoming, got a lot of upcoming stuff. Very, very important. So obviously people are loving the hard gainer. Here's another, Lydia's just commenting again. She mentioned this before, but her 14-year-old nephew loves the hard gainer workouts, and we both do them, and she's going to be 52. Well, you're a beauty, Lydia, and kudos. Like there's how many generations of people doing the hard gainer. And you can see the book behind me there, folks. You can see the book, the Hard Gainer Solution book, right behind me there on my laptop underneath my other books. So anyway, we'll get back to finishing up today. Get back to the beginning. Detox and elimination diets and cleanses. More science fiction than science, more fantasy than reality. And I hope that has given you some insight. And again, I left you the links that you'll be able to see all that. So hoping you're liking the new format. And I'm really excited to bring you the Hard Gainer protocol this week. I hope everyone will get out and purchase the course and learn a little bit. And Sunday, first day in the NFL. I don't know what Andy's got planned to eat, but it's probably, nothing short of small land animals and hide your babies. But I had my annual traditional sweet potato pie, and today I tried a different topping. Today I tried it I found some, in the frosting section, the cake frosting section, I found some whipped cream cheese icing. So if you know the cycle diet, I put the whipped cream cheese icing on that and a quart of milk and down the hatch. So I'm all carved up and ready for some NFL football. And thank you guys for being out there. If you weren't out there, it wouldn't make much sense for me to be in here. And I hope to keep bringing it to you with learning and motivation and inspiration. Got a lot of inspiring stuff coming up as well. But look for the Hard Gainer this week. We're real excited to bring it to you. I'm going to have Andy on one of these live shows because I can bring a guest in as well. And shout out to Catherine. I haven't heard from you, Catherine. I hope you're doing okay. And shout out to my cuz. Cindy's online. And Cindy, I got to get you out here hanging and banging as well. So another Physique After 50 Platinum Club member. So, I hope you benefited from this, folks. And it's time for me to settle into some football mindset. And I will see you all early next week.